My daughter is a serial killer. I just found out she may be something much worse. Hi Dad. Mom. She sat down across the table from us. I flinched as the sound of the chains as they clinked when she moved. Fiona. My wife, Christina, managed, her hand clutched right around a tissue. Then she was crying again and Fiona's face changed a bit. She looked at Christina in concern. Mom, please don't cry. If you knew what I know, you wouldn't be upset. Anger began to bubble up inside me. What the hell was wrong with Fiona? I had read enough now to know that serial killers were devoid of empathy or human emotions in general, but this wasn't the little girl I had raised to be a good woman. What happened to you? I asked, my voice quiet as I tried to keep the emotion out of it. Why did you kill all those people? Fiona sat back smiling and tossed her blonde hair over her shoulder. Oh Dad, it doesn't matter. You can't stop us. No matter how much you try. I couldn't understand what she was talking about. Fiona. My patience was wearing extremely thin. What are you talking about? I'm talking about your father, Dad. And his father. And his father. All those generations. I swallowed hard and glanced at the prison warden. If he felt like something was weird about our conversation, he didn't show it, however. What about them? I asked her, concern edging its way into my voice. Fiona tilted her head quizzically and for a moment I saw her as a 6-year-old, doing that when I taught her maths. Do you really not remember? I shifted uneasily in my seat. You know what this is? You have always known, she said leaning forward. I really. We don't like it when you lie. I stammered and then fell silent. I didn't know what kind of game she was playing. She sat back and smiled brightly. Then I swear to you my heart stopped. Suddenly the entire room darkened. Fiona's eyes went completely black. Her skin and hair turned pale white. And yet the guards kept standing there, seemingly seeing nothing, frozen in time. I tried to look at Christina but she just sat there, staring ahead of her into nothingness, a tear frozen on her cheek. My daughter opened her mouth and ash fell out as she spoke, her replaced by a deep, cold one. Elemen zarodi koaki iadar keplara. Tanu devitok paya m ed mistu. Iladi gadra devitka or roof uru ketarai. Those words, I knew those words. I had seen them before. My hands cold and clammy, I pushed back from the table as the chair fell away and backed myself up against a wall, terror gripping my chest. Instantly, the scene was back to normal. My daughter's face was normal. My wife's shoulders shuddered as she sobbed, still unable to speak a word, and Fiona sat there with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Shaking, I told the guard, we are done here. My wife turned to look at me and I stared into her teary eyes, we need to go. Now. The last thing we heard as we left the room was Fiona's laughter, once vibrant, now cold and cruel. When we got home, I waited until dinner was over and we went up to bed. I waited until Christina had taken her sleeping pill and her breathing was even enough to know she was asleep. Then, I quietly got up and made my way to the attic. I knew exactly what I was looking for. After I hauled myself up from the square-shaped opening in our ceiling into the dark, quiet room I hadn't visited since we had moved into this house, I shone my torch around. Mostly the room was full of the children's old toys and clothes, things we had been planning to give away and never got around to. Old furniture that belonged to our parents.